Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another Wild Rift video. And yes, I got you guys a Tryndamere video. But it's not actually me playing it. It's a person that was on this channel previously before. And his name is Mozilla, the one that made the item videos. And as you can see, 70% win rate on Tryndamere. So let me show you a Twitter post that he did the other day. Tryndamere looking kinda sus in 2.4 and just look at this. Just look at this. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys thought that Tryndamere sucked. But he really doesn't suck. And I also have him on my voice talking with me right now. Yo, Mozilla.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's a pleasure to be back on Hell's YouTube channel. And we're bringing you guys a Tryndamere guide this time. Like, I'm probably the only Challenger Tryndamere player in Europe at the moment. So I'm just going to share my insight and let you guys know how to perform well on Tryndamere.
Okay, so we're gonna do this video just like always, where we're gonna show the beginning part, the build part of the video in the beginning, and this is actually very important because as you can see, like, what the hell is this build? No flash, all these weird crit items. So Mozilla is gonna be explaining to you how to build Tryndamere effectively, and you can find timestamps in the description to skip to the gameplay immediately. So now let's talk about the build, and I'm gonna give it over to you, Mozilla, right now. How do you build Tryndamere?
Yeah, exactly. The single most important item that makes Tryndamere stronger than he was in 2.3 is the Solari Charge Blade. It is the perfect first item to buy on Tryndamere, and is the item that you should be waiting for before you start trading in lane and going for kills, because just having the extra true damage and the extra crit chance, giving you the cooldown reduction on your third ability. In the early game, like this early into the game, people just don't expect it. You just start running them down as soon as you get your ultimate. It's a really devastating combination.
And it also synergizes quite well with his passive, right? Where you get bonus crit already. And with the Solari, you're just gonna have so much critical chance. Also the cooldown reduction, everything. Like, as you're saying, this is quite literally the perfect item for Tryndamere, right?
Yeah, because the way Tryndamere's passive works, I think we talked about this like before already, but I'm going to explain it again just for you guys. At level 1, he gains a 0.15% crit chance per stack of Fury. That means if he has 100 Fury, which is max stacks, he has 15% crit chance, but once he's fully stacked, it doubles. So if you have Charge Blade and the passive, which increases by level as well, as your first item, roughly around level 6, you will be having 50%, 55% roughly without the ability from Charge Blade, and 80%
crit chance.
80% with one item.
Holy moly.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, and that's why Solari's Charge Blade is broken. So now let's talk about what boots you would go for on Tryndamere. Is there any like one boot that you would always go for, or is it situational?
I am kind of a one boot guy, but it generally should be situational, but I really love the Ionian boots of Lucidity for the cooldown reduction, like the ability haste.
And what enchantment?
You actually, the enchantment is the Glorious Enchantment, because as Tryndamere sometimes you struggle to get the first auto attack, to get the spin chain rolling, and this Glorious Enchantment just helps you get into range faster. So you don't get kited before you even get your chance to auto-attack the enemy. Okay,
okay. And for your second item, we have an Navori's Quickblade here. Would you always go for the Navori's Quickblade second? Or is it situational? How do you build it, the second item on Tryndamere?
I think the Navori's Quickblade is always a must-buy, especially combined with the Solari Charge Blade. Because, as I said, with the Charge Blade, you have 80% crit chance. With this, you're going to be capped on crit chance. You're going to be 100% crit chance.
Most of the time,
every auto attack is going to be critting.
Oh my God.
After you use an ability, obviously. And even if you don't use an ability, you're going to be at 80% crit chance. So chances are that you will crit regardless.
That's insane. And also, you're going to have that much crit, and every critical hit is going to reduce your non-ultimate abilities by 15%. So on top of the cooldown reduction that you're already gonna have, on top of the passive of the third ability, you're also gonna have Navori's Quickblade, which is gonna allow you to completely spam the hell out of your third ability. Is that right?
Exactly. And if you look at the first three items, the thing that they have in common is they all give you ability haste.
So here we have Cyrilda's Grudge. Why do you go for Cyrilda's Grudge third item, which is an armor penetrating item?
again, it has ability haste, which is one of the most important stats on Tryndamere, because you need to be able to spam your spin. And people tend to buy armor against Tryndamere, whether it's like plated steel caps for just the Lenny phase, or maybe a Randuin's Omen, or a Bramble Vest to reduce your healing. So this item shreds their armor by 30%, and it gives you the extra slow, which is really good on your spin for AoE slows.
Okay, so these are these always going to be your first 3 items, really? Like always? Well, and always, I mean as in 90% of the games?
The first 2 are going to be 90, like probably 100% of the games, probably. Okay. That's how important they are. If the enemies don't have a lot of armor, or they don't have any tanks in the team, you can shove the Cyrilda's Grudge like 1 or 2 slots back and just pull the other items forward, essentially.
Blade of the Rune King, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we have Blade of the Rune King and Infinity Edge. These are situational items. Are there any other items that you could potentially go for if you're against a certain enemy?
I really enjoy buying lethality items on Tryndamere when the enemy team is squishy, like the Yumos Ghostblade, like the Duskblade of Draktar. These items give you a hell of a lot of attack damage, as well as ability haste again, and the 15 armor penetration that allows you to deal extra damage to squishy champions. Yeah,
okay. So it's still fine to go for items like this, even though you're later on in the game. It's still going to be worth it against super squishy enemies, you're saying, because it gives you all these stats. Yeah, okay. Interesting. So generally, this is going to be your build, right? Where you go for these 3 items, Blade of the Rune King, Infinity Edge. But it's situational. If the enemies have no tanks, Mozilla is mentioning that you can go for full lethality to just deal even more damage to them with the Duskblade of Draktar or the Yumos Ghostblade, depending on which one you feel like you need, right?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty easy, right? How to build Tryndamere.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Like, I don't deviate a lot from the build. The most important thing is that I always build Quick Blade, Charge Blade, and Cyrilda. But Cyrilda's sometimes later when the enemies are just not that tanky.
Yeah, if they're squishy, you can build this one later. But you do always build it. You never go for...
I always build it.
What is that other one? Mortal Reminder. You never go for Mortal Reminder. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I never go for Mortal Reminder.
It's just not worth it, right? Cyrilda just provides so much more. The slows, the ability haste, everything, right? It's just better on Tryndamere.
And you already have the Ignite and the Summoner spell choice, so you're likely going to be reducing the healing.
Very soon.
Okay.
So, oh yeah, true, yeah. Let's now talk about the runes. So, the first rune. We're talking about Baron Lane Tryndamere, by the way, and mid lane, right? It's the same in Baron and mid lane?
Yeah, I enjoy playing a lot of mid lane Tryndamere as well.
So this is not jungle Tryndamere. This is like the runes and the build is all for Baron lane and mid lane. So what runes do you build on Tryndamere?
The runes are going to be Conqueror. I think Conqueror is a must on Tryndamere. You stack it so fast as soon as you have your ability haste items, and it grants you the extra bonus attack damage that you lack because you're not buying attack damage as your first item.
Yeah. And what do you go for your second rune?
This is a personal favorite of mine. I really enjoy playing with Gathering Storm because it gives you this like late game insurance. And I tend to play somewhat passive in the early laning phase, so I can't really utilize the brutal attack damage or like the champion bonus damage that you deal to other champions.
Sense. How about Hunter Vampirism though? Because you're saying you play safe in the early game. Would Hunter Vampirism be an option as well? People want to have a bigger power spike maybe at the first or second dragon if they can get some assists and kills? Or would you always say that Gathering Storm is just generally going to be better for the late game?
I think against champions that poke you a lot in lane, Hunter Vampirism is a choice that you can take. But you also have to remind yourself that Hunter Vampirism requires you to get takedowns, right? Yeah. It requires you to get kills or assists. So it's not always going to be, you're not always going to be able to stack this before like it's going to lose its value.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So Gathering Storm just for that late game, because when you do reach the late game on Tryndamere, you're an absolute powerhouse. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay. So for your third rune, well, what is it for the third runes? Because there's so many that I thought were good on Tryndamere, but what do you have to say about it?
I always go Hunter Titan.
Always.
Because I always go Hunter Titan, regardless of which lane. It's always Hunter Titan.
Okay.
Because tenacity is one of the most important stats on Tryndamere, and since you're not buying the mercurial threads, that give you tenacity, the boots, you're gonna have to supplement it with the rune.
Okay, so
otherwise
no
you're gonna be
adaptive
TC'd.
carapace, no conditioning, just Hunter Titan for the tenacity. You're telling me you really need it in every game.
Yeah, the thing is, like, once you're CC'd as Tryndamere, you're a sitting duck. People
Yeah.
just wait out your ultimate timer and they kill you.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. So for your fourth rune, I'm gonna say this one for you. It's gonna be Sweet Tooth, because Sweet Tooth is broken. Right? Yeah. That's just how it is. So let's now take a look at the spells real quick. I mean, there is no flash here. There is no. What is this? Mozilla, explain.
I mean, I'm notorious for not playing some champions with flash. I play like Camille without flash. I play Fiora without flash. But this Tryndamere build here with Ghost for the movement speed and Ignite for the extra kill pressure is
and
also one that I came up with.
As you mentioned earlier.
The anti-heal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like the perfect setup to run people down in lane as soon as you get your first item. It's so hard to escape from a Ghost at Tryndamere.
Okay, so yeah, that was it about the build part. Let's now get into the gameplay. Alright, on to the gameplay. I just wanted to show this part of the video because as you can see, the Akali is like, we have a Tryndamere, and he was basically, like, look at this, they're complaining in the chat because they have a Tryndamere. And this is the general thing with Tryndamere. People just, you know, when a teammate picks Tryndamere, they're like, man, why did you pick Tryndamere? This champion is so bad. But I really hope that me and Mozilla can make a change in that through this video, right? Because Tryndamere is not bad. He's actually really good if you play him effectively. So let's just skip this part of the video real quick. So now I'm gonna leave it to Mozilla. What do you have to say about Tryndamere?
Well, especially in the higher elos, like, people really don't like to see Tryndamere in the team. Because there's really no one that plays him like I do. It sounds a bit egoistic, but
I mean, if it's the
even
truth.
I would want a Tryndamere in my team, honestly.
He's even called Windamere. Come on, guys. So you're saying basically, correct me if I'm wrong, if you play Tryndamere the right way, he's incredibly broken. But if you don't know what you're doing on Tryndamere, he's bad. Is that true? Like, are there so there are things that you really have to do, which you're gonna explain in the video to the viewers, so they can also get good at Tryndamere and maybe see the powers of Tryndamere. So what would you say are generally the big powers of Tryndamere? What do you want to do? Like, do you want to fight 1v1s, team fights, turret pushing? Like, what are the powers of Tryndamere?
Tryndamere tends to accelerate his gold really fast because it clears jungle camps really fast. So the way I tend to get ahead in lane, I don't kill my enemy opponent. I push the wave. Once I have like a couple of items, I push the wave, and then I go take jungle camps.
Okay.
I try to maximize the gold I can gain. And you can see here I trade with the Camille pretty poorly.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the hardest matchups for Tryndamere in the early game. It's really difficult to survive this lane against Camille. That's why all that I'm doing is just staying back, letting her push into me, trying to survive this lane as best as possible till I get my Solari charge blade.
So is this a general thing that you would say is like survive your lane until you get the Solari's charge blade, farm as much as you can, try to not die, and take jungle camps just to farm up as hard as possible in the early game, and like don't look for fights in the lane yet. Is that what you're saying about Tryndamere?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna see me go down like 200, 300 gold in this game just because I give up so much CS in the early game.
Better than dying, right?
Exactly, because dying gives the enemy so much extra gold plus the experience that they gain, and you lose the wave that crashes into the turret, which is even more important because Tryndamere doesn't really care if the enemy has gold. He only cares if he himself has gold.
Okay,
so what I'm trying to do here is stop her from recalling because my jungler was moving. It's really hard to get into Camille, so I just decide to keep farming my way.
Yeah, instead of trying to go for the kill, because you didn't actually see where the Lee Sin was at that time, I think. It was a bit risky to chase her maybe, because the Lee Sin could have actually fought you. I'm not so sure about that. But yeah, as you can see, you know, there's really not much happening right now in the game. And there shouldn't be, right? Like, if you, like, we saw 140 games on Tryndamere on this account. Were there many games where you actually won the early game, or was it really just like this, where you were safely farming your lane, getting to that late game, and then absolutely stomping the enemy?
There are some games where I win the early game, but that is mostly because people just aren't used to playing against Tryndamere. If you have an experienced player like this Camille, for example, he has been high elo for a pretty long time already, and he knows like how to play Camille properly, how to utilize the wave. So I can't really do much to her. So all I'm doing is just stalling out. But if I play against an unexperienced player, I can sometimes get the lucky crit, get the ignite to catch them off guard, and just kill them early. And once I kill them early, the game's just over because I snowball onto them.
So, what would you say would be the shift in playstyle that you're gonna have when you get the Solaris charge bit? Because right now you're just farming, but when you get the Solaris charge bit, will you actually be looking for those 1v1s? Should you be looking for those 1v1s, or maybe team fights, just things like that?
Once you get the Solaris charge blade, you're going to be looking for mistakes on the enemy's part.
So you're still not strong. You're still not very strong enough with the Solari.
Exactly, because when you engage onto a Camille, she can just hookshot away, you know?
Yeah.
So if you have your Solari, even if you're stronger, you have to wait for the Camille to make a mistake so you can catch her out and chase her down.
Okay, so what would be the easiest matchups for Tryndamere? This is so people know when to draft Tryndamere. Like when you see an enemy pick a certain champion in Baron lane, what would be easy matchups for Tryndamere, you would say?
Easy matchups for Tryndamere would be generally squishy champions, because most bruiser champions tend to beat Tryndamere, except for Jax. Jax is actually a really easy matchup, even though he blocks your auto attacks. It's incredibly easy to just dash out of a stun.
Yeah.
So if the enemy picks Jax, you can pick Tryndamere. If the enemy picks Akali, if you're good at Tryndamere, it's an easy matchup.
Okay.
It might be difficult because Akali is a finicky champion to play against. It's really annoying to play against the Shroud. And it's also pretty decent into Gragas, because if Gragas ever misses his belly slam, you can just run him down as well.
Oh, that's interesting, because Gragas is pretty much like one of the best Baron laners in the game right now. So you're saying if you get good at Tryndamere, it's a very solid pick against the Gragas?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it's tank Gragas, he can always just stay under his tower and be defensive. But
that's fine for you, isn't it? That's fine, because you want to farm up to the... Yeah, okay. Yeah. Interesting.
And if he stays under his tower, I can just go for the enemy jungle camps or my jungle camps and just accelerate my goat lead to the point where he can't stay under tower anymore.
So, okay, what you're doing right now is you're letting the Camille, the enemy Baron laner, rotate to the dragon, which pretty much is like a 90% chance that your team is going to lose the dragon. Do you always do this in a game? Because you're obviously, as you said, accelerating your gold right now, taking minions, taking the tower here. Is this what you always do? Like 90% of the games? look at the chat.
Yeah, this is the common occurrence. You have to have nerves of steel when playing Tryndamere.
It's like Nasus, man. It's giving me Nasus vibes.
Like getting a tower is like one of the best scenarios you can hope for at Tryndamere, because look at this space. I have my charge blade, I have my critical cloak, which means I will have the 100% crit chance with just these two items.
Damn.
And I have the boots with the ability haste. This is
actually
essentially
insane.
all I need.
Yeah.
This is all I need to beat the Camille in lane.
Okay.
Even though Camille got 2 kills on the dragon rotation here, we didn't quite see it because I didn't pan over with the camera. Look at this. I'm extending my Conqueror.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for her to make a mistake. If she ever walks up too closely here, I can just engage on her and run her down, because the tower is just gone.
Oh, let's take a look at how you fight her. I find this really interesting. Look at the way that you're using a third ability. Wow. Okay, what do you have to say about that? Because you were spamming your third ability, and after basic attacks, the cooldown reduced quite a lot, and you weren't going behind her. You were immediately going into her, as if you just wanted to cancel the animation as fast as possible. What do you have to say about the way that you took that fight right there?
Using your third ability short is the most important thing. That's why I would recommend using the option to dash onto champions, not with your movement.
Is it going to automatically do that if you auto-aim it?
Exactly. If you auto-aim it, it's always going to do a short dash onto them. This is a really greedy play by me, by the way. I'm incredibly lucky to get out here.
Oh my god, yeah.
You could see me taking the enemy Gromp. You could see me taking their blue buff. I was just accelerating my gold again.
Just went so fast. Like, I just want to point out real quick, you took it so damn fast. I didn't even realize, like, boom, boom, you took their whole jungle just like that.
Yeah. And here I'm fiddling around a bit because I don't really remember the item build. This was like one of the first games I played on the newest patch.
Yeah.
And like all I'm doing here is trying to defend the mid tower because the mid tower is really important for map control. And this is like a really big play here coming up.
Let's take a look. You have your ultimate ready. You use the Glorious to slow him. Oh my god. Yeah, you can dive with the what? Jesus, man. And look at the chat. They're still like complaining about you. This is what I love about people. I swear to God. You just got a 1 versus 3 triple kill, and these guys are like, Tryndamere, attack! You didn't help us. Well, they just completely inted. Like, well, look.
Yeah, and now I get the Rift Herald gold. I get the triple kill. I get everything I want as a Tryndamere. I get the mid lane turret. This was like this is essentially like the dream game you want to have as Tryndamere. Here is, again, I get away really fortunately.
Oh my god!
This is this is just like one crazy game.
So honestly. The third ability, it's really good for chasing, of course, but it's obviously also really good for running away. Like you did right there, you used it over the wall, and it has such a low cooldown with this build. That's what I really want to point out. Like this build is so insane because of the cooldown. But let's talk about the other abilities really, because we've really only talked about the third ability, and I want to point something out real quick, is you don't put points in your ultimate. Why do you do that?
Because all that it does for the ultimate is reduce the cooldown, which is honestly not that important if you build a lot of ability haste items, because it's already going to reduce the cooldown, and it increases the rage you gain from your using your ultimate. So level 1 it's 50 rage, and it's going up by 25 per level.
Yeah.
Which is again really not that important because you're always going to be at 100 rage if you play it properly.
You don't even upgrade it lastly. Like you really don't find it important. Damn. Are all of your other abilities really more important than that? Because like when I see some people play Tryndamere, they never really use the second ability because they say like, "What is that damage, man? What? Jeez, those crits with this build! Look at that, man! You're just completely one-shotting them with the combos that you're doing." And yeah, talk us through that. How do you do that? It just looks so easy, but people tend to, you know, they play so badly on Tryndamere. How do you do this?
This is also like due to Ghost resetting, like the movement speed resetting when you get a kill.
The summoner spell Ghost.
Exactly. It allows you to keep chaining these like auto attacks onto one another because you keep getting the movement speed if you get a kill.
Yeah.
And if you play it properly, you can even get away like I did there in the end. I jumped into 3 people, killed 2 of them, realized that I couldn't chase anymore, and then I dashed out with my
third ability. Yeah. Wow. This actually makes Tryndamere look good. Like I always thought Tryndamere sucked, really. I mean, I knew you were really good at Tryndamere, but actually watching this, because this is also my first time watching this game right now, this just looks so powerful. Like the way that you can use your third ability, which I didn't know about, where you just auto aim it on the enemy with the right setting on. You could just basic attack, third ability, basic attack, third ability. You could spam it so hard. Like, look at the cooldown of the third ability. It's 6 seconds, and whenever you hit a basic attack, it reduces by 2 up to 3 seconds. It's insane.
Yeah.
Look at the chat.
You can see the Wukong pinging me back from the red buff, and at this point, I see myself as the carry in this game.
Yeah.
So I take the resources that I need to carry this game. Even though Wukong is tilting a little bit, I know that I'm going to carry this game if I get fed enough. So I'm just taking everything I can.
Wow. It just all fits perfectly together. The build, the playstyle, because you get the Conqueror, you have the Ghost. You already explained how to use Ghost, because when you kill an enemy, it resets. Conqueror is very easy to stack because of basic attack, third ability, blah, 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 and second ability as well. And you can just spam your basic attacks, and you're gonna have full crit all the time. It's just so insane, honestly. It just looks so good. What are you doing right there? Just taking that damage.
Yeah, I just wanted to take the tower as fast as possible because the enemies were respawning.
Yeah.
And when you have this enchanter type support on your team as well at the same time, it really enables Tryndamere to do what he wants. Because when you have a Lulu, when you have a Sona, they give you extra movement speed. They give you extra shields and heals, so you can run rampant in the backline if you get like a Sona to give you her third ability and her second ability.
So, would you say that you always want to use the third ability when you can, or would it sometimes be better to just use basic attacks? Because I would think that it would always be better to just completely spam your abilities because of the way that Solari's Charge Blade works, right? Where if you use an ability, you get that extra stack. What do you have to say about that?
There are some instances where you know the enemy has a dash. Let's say you're playing against Ezreal,
Oh, you
and you
wait.
dash onto him. You don't want to use your second dash instantly after you get it up. You want to wait till he jumps away, and you can follow with your spin after him.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you use it too early, he jumps away, and you have nothing to follow him with.
Yeah, makes
Here I'm
sense.
just like abusing my power essentially in the side lane, just tower diving this Lee Sin. Nothing you can do about
Jesus.
it.
What is that? Just what is that? Actually making Tryndamere look unbalanced. You're under the tower. Obviously you can use... Oh yeah, let's talk about the ultimate. So, how... Yeah, what do you have to say about the ultimate? How do you use the ultimate? In what situations? When do you use it? Because I see some people use it too early or they don't even use it at all because they were too late. What are general tips that you have about the ultimate of Tryndamere?
Generally, we want to use it as late as possible, like as late as possible, really. Because if you use it too early, you might just not get that last auto attack off that would get you the kill otherwise.
Yeah.
And that is like a certain skill that you have to train. Is some sort of like reaction time anticipation mix. You know, you have to know how much damage is coming in, so you know when to press your ultimate. This
Yeah.
just comes with experience.
Yeah.
And it just makes you like, look at this. Like I can just run into 4 people.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
They can't do anything. They can't kill you, and you go out. You go out when the ultimate is over.
Yeah, exactly. And Vayne is trying to chase me, but there's nothing she can do about it.
Yes.
And this game started from me getting a turret. That's all that I got as elite in the early game.
All you need, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's all I need. If you play it out properly, and obviously your team doesn't insanely run it down, because there are some games that are just not winnable, then you just like dominate the whole map, because you take the enemy jungler, making the enemy jungler weaker because he has less camps to farm, making yourself stronger at the same time. And at some point, you're just so far ahead in gold that you can just run to 3 people and get out afterwards after killing 2.
Yeah, with the ultimate. That was just so insane. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I like it was informative for me as well. The reason that I took Mozilla here is because he's like a main Tryndamere, insanely good at it. He has like a 70% win rate on it. I don't play Tryndamere, but yeah, I really hope yet again that you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed doing the video with Mozilla again, you know, and I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I always enjoy coming back to this. And one thing I want to mention as well, still, because I don't think we really touched it, is the first ability on Tryndamere.
Oh yeah, the first ability.
Yeah, because this is like the linchpin of like a Tryndamere build, because this is the ability you max first. This is really important. You max this ability first. And it gives you extra attack damage. The lower HP you get.
Oh.
It passively gives you attack damage the lower HP you get. We can check this out like real quick.
1 second.
The Bloodlust, exactly. Gains 5 attack damage plus an additional 0.25 attack damage per 1% of missing health. This obviously goes up as when you put points into it. And this ability has 2 uses. It gives you passive attack damage, which is really good when you're in your ultimate, because remember,
yeah, because you're gonna have 0% HP, 1%, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's gonna be the maximum amount of damage you're gonna get from this, and it also heals you by the amount of fury you have at the moment.
Yeah, if you consume.
So it creates a little bit of a mini game in the laning phase, because you always want to be at max fury to get the crits, because it doubles the crit chance when you're max. But you also don't want to drop too low, obviously. You want to use the heal to heal yourself up and then stack the fury back up again.
Damn, that's a lot to consume about Tryndamere, but damn, actually makes him look good. I'm serious. I might actually pick him up and give him a try after this video, for real.
Huh. Yeah, it's a really enjoyable champion. Like, I have the most fun playing Wild Rift when I'm playing Tryndamere, honestly.
So yeah, that was a 30-minute Tryndamere video. I hope that we packed up all the information that you need. I mean, I know we did definitely. So we packed all the information that you need about Tryndamere. Now go pick up Tryndamere, just play him, and yeah, listen to the tips that Mozilla gave to you, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna do good for you. So thank you very much for watching, and wait, let me put it here. And yeah, I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.